Welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast, the ultimate podcast for paintball enthusiasts. Each week, we dive into the world of paintball, bringing you stories, insights, and tips from players, coaches, and industry insiders. Sponsored by 1023 Sportswear. Looking for high-quality gear that performs as hard as you do? Check out 1023 Sportswear. And as a listener of the Planet Paintball Podcast, you can get 20% off your order with the code PLANETPaintball. Suit up, save big, and play your best.
All right. Dougie, welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast. How are you doing, man? Where are you reporting from today?
Good, man. Good. I'm reporting from South Jersey, just outside of Atlantic City.
Okay, nice. It's always nice to have that local event to you, isn't it?
It's like 7 minutes from my house, the MAO.
Nice. I remember they used to have it down in South Carolina. And
I remember that back in the day. These are the days that I played. Like, we're talking like 06, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I remember it like yesterday.
Yeah, that was a fun era right before the crash.
It was before the crash. And then during the crash, too, it was brutal.
Yeah. So how did you get started in paintball? What was the first time?
First time I got started in paintball. So my father was in the military, and he was the head of the officer candidate training school. So he would be sending officer candidates to officer candidate school to then become officers in the military. So he would bring them out and develop small unit tactics with them playing paintball. And then that just evolved into bringing his two sons that were untamable at the house to in part. And then that's how we started playing. And he traveled a lot. So we traveled a lot skating. I mean, I've skated literally from coast to coast before, coast to coast, and
nice.
Paintball coast to coast. So I got into it early, really early. It was about like 11, 12.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long did it take to go from like playing recreational to playing tournaments and stuff?
Immediately. I ended up being a Division I wrestler. So like sports were already like that direction anyway. This was like a off season kind of sport that you really couldn't. Like, my dad kind of pulled the skateboarding away when like wrestling was like, I was like growing up, like he's like, you got to stop the skateboarding.
Yeah.
And so yeah, paintball, ball, and it was all wrestling. It was wrestling and wrestling really never stopped. But paintball and wrestling, my entire it was all my middle school years and all my high school years. A little bit after my high school years, yeah.
So what was like your first big team that you got on?
Wired in an MPPO, for a long time. Divinity, not 187. The Crims camp back in the day. I used to play at Cobra Command, Condor, which became Captain Carl's, Crims, if you know those fields.
I've heard of them.
And then Atlas was a big one back in the day. Once all those closed, like everyone was just like at Atlas. That was like home base.
Well, that's awesome. So you have started a new semi-pro team this year, right?
Yeah, I have. It's going to be we're going to run Division II because we want to make sure that we're not going to run the whole season. We're going to be running the Division II, two Division II events, MAO in Ohio. Depending on, we want to be ready to step on the field. The roster that we're putting together, the roster that we have so far, it's coming together with a bunch of veterans, a bunch of, people that, from other organizations that just fell out of those organizations or stopped playing, you know what I mean? So it's a good mix of what we have so far. The goal is to hop up to semi-pro. I mean, I missed a lot of time in those years, you know what I mean? This year I played with the Jesters for their D3 team. The semi-pro team did phenomenal at World Cup. It was a great showing. They took fourth. Really proud of those guys. It was awesome. But, I missed a lot. So I was like, you know what? Let me go with a bunch of my buddies who are ex-semi-pro players and D1 guys and some high-level D2 guys. And, why not? Leverage just moved up. They did the whole... They killed it with the jersey model. Those guys have been friends forever. They went out there and did it. So why not?
Yeah, tight race this year too, I feel like.
Yeah, it was a really cool series from top to bottom because you had a lot of teams contending to take that first spot.
Yeah.
At least 5 teams could have taken it.
Yeah. could have taken the pro spot. And then the
Yeah.
Sea Dogs moved up too.
I mean, they should have been up though. I mean, if you watch them play, I mean, semi-pros.
Yeah.
No, semi-pros no joke.
No. No.
It's
So
almost like I would rather play there forever, to be honest with you. Like, I would have no problem just playing
Yeah.
semi-pro forever. Why not just stay there?
there's definitely some dudes that have made it a career down there. So what brought you back into the sport, man?
It's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. How do I answer this the right way? Life takes a lot of twists and turns. And I never even thought about playing paintball again after like 2012. Just like never even thought about it. And then not one time. My father would always be like, just get back into paintball. Just get back into paintball. Just get back into paintball. And I was always just like really never put any thought into it. You know what I mean? I was always really chasing girls. I was doing X. I was doing Y. I was doing Z. I was going all these different directions. I was going to school. And then I had a pretty bad work injury, and I just kind of revamped my life and was just kind of like, matured a little bit. And then the more I matured, I was able to like think about the things that used to make me happy. And then I was like, I called Tim Trenton from the Jesters. I was like, Tim, I'd like to play paintball again. He's like, yeah, come on down. He said, the boys will get you set up. And I was actually, the story's even funnier than that. I call up Ryan Williamson. He plays for the Hurricanes. He's been like a friend of me since I was a kid. Forever. Literally forever. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to play paintball again. He's like, yeah. Come up to the Jester practice. Mind you, this kid plays for the Hurricanes. He doesn't even live in New Jersey. So I roll up to the practice, and I'm kind of coerced back into it. Like I coerced myself back into it, which was pretty cool. They welcomed me with open arms, and it was great, bro. It was really cool, man. I got to see a lot of cool stuff this year. Not everybody's really lucky to be welcomed back like that. You know what I mean? Not everybody gets. Some people leave the sport on bad terms. Some people leave the sport because of money. Some people, I left because I just left. So yeah, I mean, I'm really stoked to be back. Really stoked to be back.
So before you left, had you been in the Jester camp?
Oh yeah. I've been in the Jester camps ever since I was a little Grom.
I
was the one that they would like lead all the pranks. So like everybody couldn't get mad at us, the little kids. There's a lot of current semi-pro players that came from those little Grom camps too. We were killers too.
Yeah,
I played Division III back in the day like that. It was fun, man.
It feels like it was a little bit grittier back then. I don't know if that's me being jaded or what, but it feels a little grittier.
It was so fun and so fast. It was so fun and so fast.
So you came back last year, hooked back up with the Jesters, played D3 the whole season, part of the season?
Yet. I played World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So I made it for World Cup. We didn't play Chicago. MAO, I had come back already.
Okay.
It was more of like a kind of support for the team. But
Nice.
they were doing great anyway, so.
And then just Trenton Bang came out of having a bunch of buddies.
So there's a couple players that I grew up with, and there's a couple players that I grew up always playing with that left the sport and then are in and out of the sport, and now they're back in the sport, and now I'm back. So we were like, well, why don't we just kind of like bring that like old like little brotherhood kind of thing back together and just see what we could do. You know what I mean? It's going to be, I can give you a couple names. Evan Cooperstein. I don't know if you ever heard of Evan.
Like I have.
For Tropic and Master Blasters. And
okay.
And then Arway. He's been around forever. He played from everything from MOD, Method of Destruction, from Leverage to Tropic, all over the board. We got him back full time, which is great. He's my age, so he's stoked to be back in the game. And then we got a couple other people that we're putting in the lineup.
All right, cool.
I think I told you off camera that there's a possibility that Sean Henderson would be the coach. So I won't confirm nor deny anything. But Sean's a great guy. He's a paintball brain. We're now building and we're training, thing is we don't want to take the field to get beat. We really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I to be humble and to be as humble as possible, we want to develop the team, develop the skills, develop the brotherhood, develop the trust. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody has their own things going on in paintball off the field. Like, you know what I mean? That's not always taken into account, but then sometimes it isn't, and sometimes, like, the play time goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are working, some people got problems, and that's all understandable. You just got to, like, meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, when I was, when me and Evan originally, so Evan's the manager at the field at Long Live Paintball. He got out of the sport because he just was doing paintball too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Kid's a semi-pro player.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want to play. So let's figure this out. And we can manage it. I know why you're not happy. It's because you're a little bit more mature for your age, and you're now having to deal with stuff that you don't want to deal with. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we're like, let's figure it out. Let's just figure out. So for like a couple months, we were like talking like, how would we do it? Like, we didn't even talk about a team. We're just thinking, how would we do it? What would we do? Who would we use? And
just talking it through.
Yeah. We were just literally, going out to dinner and, sipping martinis and, just doing nonsense, just trying to think like, how would we do it? Mm-hmm. And then that's when we started to actually try to start to execute it. It's not a fully built team yet, but I mean, there's enough people on it that definitely there's 9 people ready to go, ready to come play. I mean, everyone else wants to play semi-pro, but then again, I also some of the guys want to be like, look, we want to win a Division 2 event.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll go train for 6 months. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Like, I'll go play MIO in Chicago, maybe try to get the podium, and I'll go right off into the sunset for a couple months. I really don't care.
So are you guys going to do anything locally or just train?
No, it's going to be MAO, Ohio, and Ohio.
Cool.
Got some people on probation. Got some people
take it from there.
Got some people on probation. Got to keep them close.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Nah, I'm kidding.
So where'd the team name come from?
That's an even more interesting story. Oh man, I have a checkered background.
Okay.
Trenton. I spent a lot of time in Trenton in many capacities, and it's a play off the gang war that goes on out there.
Okay.
So gangbang. So bang. So, and then I wanted to incorporate the history of Trenton, so that's why I brought the
with like Trenton Top Gun.
Yeah, I have the jersey right here. So like I incorporated, the other stuff is like I incorporated like a comic like 1776 theme.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to fit a lineage to Trenton, and then I got a lot of different designs going. So we wanted to keep it more like keep it a little gangster, keep it a little George Washington.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, the jerseys came out good, man. The jerseys came out good. Definitely sick. I like them. What's your Active did the jerseys, right? Is that
Active did the jerseys? Yeah. So do you know who Odin Paintball is?
Yeah.
Great guy.
I know all of them.
One of my really good friends. So we do a lot of work together. We do a lot of collabs and stuff. So he's like, just go to Active. He's like, go do whatever you want. And I'm like, all right. And he just killed the design. I was like, why not?
So doing D2, doing those 2 events, just going to be training up to it. So how long were you with the Jesters?
06?
06 on?
06? No, 06, 07, 08, 9, 10, 11, hiatus.
Okay. That's a solid 5 years of an organization, man.
Yeah, and I had played NPPL 5 years before that too. So that was actually my. So I have never played for another X-Ball team but the Jesters.
Okay.
I've only played X-Ball with the Jesters.
So how was it back in the day playing both formats?
I loved it, dude. I was an athlete. I loved it, dude. Send me down the field, but I think it was a little bit harder for me to digest it back then. In its entirety, for like me at least, playing it. But the vibe was so cool. You had so much going on all year in paintball. And you had a lot of big local events back then too that were really serious.
Yeah, paintball was really booming back then.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not booming now, but you had you had you had the MPPL. I mean, that drew a lot of teams. It's a different format. The format too is a lot different.
Yeah. But what format did you prefer back then?
MPPL. I like 7-man better back then. Yeah, back then. But then when I started playing X-Ball, you had X-Ball. The teams were bigger back then, so you had 10-man lines. So it was just boom, 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 boom. You know?
Yeah, they had to be bigger back then.
Yeah,
and some of those pro teams were carrying 15 dudes.
Yeah, because you didn't have that break, and you didn't have that break in between you didn't have four teams on the field at one time.
Yeah,
it was just boom, 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 go.
Yeah, real quick to wear some legs out for sure.
Yeah, and it was 15. It was 15 a second back then, or 15 balls a second back then, and it was dive to the corner, get to the corner. And It was fun though. It was fun after we got the hang of it, because I got a little bit older, aging out of the MPPL into the PSP. It was definitely where I preferred to be.
Gotcha.
But like when the PSP was like kind of like the wild wild.
Yeah. How high up did you go in the MPPL?
What were the rankings then?
I think it was pro, semi-pro, and then I think it was.
Was there a Division 1 back then? Was there a Division 1 back then?
Can't remember if they had a Division 1 and semi-pro.
I think Division 1 was semi-pro, and then there was Division 2. Division 2.
Okay.
Was the highest one in the MPPL.
This is getting up there, getting really competitive.
Young though, really young.
Yeah,
14.
Oh, because back then, your points didn't transfer from the leagues.
No,
right? You had MPPL points, and then you had PSP points.
Yeah, no, they were completely
separated.
They were completely enemies.
Yeah.
Mortal enemies.
So, rocking with Active. Any other sponsors this year?
Oh yeah, we're in collaboration with Super Dead, Sandan. Mark from Sandan has always been great to me. Odin, Ag Club. Ethan's great. We're working with Twister. We're a Twister team.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, yeah, I didn't really take on too many big sponsors, because it's at the same time, it's kind of like we're building our own thing, and maybe some sponsors are too demanding. It's really not much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I love paintball. Listen, man, if you want to shoot this and that, I'm not going to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's how you want to play, I'm not going to stop you.
Well, that's kind of nice with Twister. You got the you get options with that as long as
I'm
a Twister gun.
I'm a DSR guy, so okay. I mean, I know all my boys are like Twister CS3 guys, so it works out.
Cool. Yeah, I love the Twister DSRs.
They're a bunch of good dudes too, though, bro. They really are. Quick Shot too. Let me shout out Quick Shot. Shot. Listen, bro. So Quick Shot. I've known Larry since I've been I don't even know, bro. Every single one of my Christmas gifts were bought at Quick Shot. My parents known him forever. He's a great guy, great man, great family. He's done a lot for the sport, a ton for the sport. So yeah, Quick Shot. We work with Quick Shot. So we'll shout out Don too at Quick Shot Speedball and Filthy Few.
Yeah, gotta shout out Don.
See those boys. They train hard, bro. They train hard. They really do. They're out there with Wrecking Crew, and now they're out there with Leverage. Like good. They're gonna get good. I'm stoked to watch them too.
Yeah, he's it seems like he's doing a lot for New Jersey.
Doing
with
a lot.
That field.
He's not only doing a lot for New Jersey. He's doing a lot for everybody.
Yeah.
Because he had Tyler Harmon out here 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I know Tyler and Marcelo, have something to do with them, but I mean, that's awesome. That's cool. That's great for the sport. Plus Leverage being pro. It's all eyes on Jersey.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be paying attention to them for the rookie year for sure.
Oh, I'm stoked. Well, I'm stoked to watch it, bro.
How you think they're gonna do the first event?
Dude, I think they're gonna be fine. It's gonna be hard to play against them. You know what I mean?
They're gonna to Sunday.
Make it to Sunday. Yeah, they'll make it to Sunday during the year. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, they're so creative. That's only going to take them so far in pro. But then, if you look at their lineup, I mean, Alfred's been in the game forever. They got Ivan working with him too. I mean, and then Caputo. You know what I mean? They're Frankie. They're really, all those kids could have gone pro already.
Is Caputo making the transition to pro with them?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. I think the whole team.
I heard something about him staying with someone else for some reason.
I don't think that would be. I don't think that would be true. Yeah.
I was a little confused by
All
it.
those kids could have been, they could have been playing pro already, but they didn't because they wanted to do it together, which is commendable and it's awesome, and they killed it too. So I mean, if they podium every single event,
yeah, they played well. Yeah, they matched up against our guys. Well, not my guys, but the local semi-pro team down here, Greenville Growl, a couple times.
Yeah, I like Growl. Me and Sean actually had a conversation about Growl. We like their style of play, and I mean, we were talking about too. We were talking about Nasty, and then the NRG thing hadn't happened yet when we talked, but we had already kind of foreseen them turning it back into Arsenal.
You mean from Bears back to NRG?
I'm sorry, Revo too. We were talking about the Revo thing.
Okay.
We were talking about the NRG thing because we started talking about Vendetta and all them, and then we started talking about a bunch of different teams from that area because they live in a little bit further south than us.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys
in that area.
come up.
What's up?
A lot of those guys come up towards you, don't they? For practice and stuff.
Yeah, they'll come up. It's really localized, and I'm in super south. I'm in Jersey, so it's like I'm kind of like not that far. They got a bunch of hitters down there in the Carolinas and Virginia and Maryland.
Yeah, it's
really
growing. The Carolinas have a problem with getting past D3 sometimes. Like we do well, and then I don't know what it is.
Is Growl still around? Is Growl still a team?
No, they're moving on.
Right.
They ended up 5th overall for the season.
Yeah,
but
what was it? If they had podiumed in Chicago, they would have been fine. Or if they, I don't know, there was something.
Yeah, I think if they had podium, and they were always up there. They got a 2nd place, so if they had like one more good showing, it would have been more possible for sure.
Yeah, same thing. Crew was right there too with them.
Yeah, but they are a bunch of those guys run their own businesses, and from what I understand is they just need to go back and focus on business.
It's a lot, dude. Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's definitely that. I mean, that's the kind of thing we're trying to build over with the guys. I mean, we want to meet everyone where they're at, and then figure out the schedule and the way we can make it work instead of forcing things. Like it's just why do it?
Yeah,
Like it's like we're taking like a just more of a logical approach to it.
Well, it sounds like you guys are taking the time to like build the foundation, right?
It has to be done. I mean, with anything. I mean, time really to me it isn't really. It's important, but like I will take the time to do it right than have to do it twice or not even get the chance to do it again.
Yeah, then rushing through it. For sure.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that's like, hey guys, we're gonna go play a D2 event. We win the D2 event. We're gonna go play some semi-pro, and we want to really get into a career because I want to dump some money into it. I'm building a house, and I'm gonna put field.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm building a house up north. I'm gonna be able to put a field on it, so I want to get into a bunch of different areas and a bunch of different things. Being back in paint, I'm in school full time. So I have the availability to do a little bit more than your average person, which I'm blessed to be able to do. So I mean, it's just really, if to us right now, it's the weather.
Yeah.
So like we're not
cold
playing,
here. I know it's freezing there.
We're not playing Tampa, so it's just like everyone get their business done, and then let's come, because we have the availability to be out Monday through Friday. I mean, I don't have to be out on a Saturday or Sunday. We'll be out on a Saturday and a Sunday, but
you can put in that extra time though.
Yeah, exactly. But some people's schedules line up better like that, what I mean? And then some people don't.
It's amazing how that extra time rolls. Like it's like a snowball, man. You start putting in a little bit of that extra time and it get better and better and better.
Especially for myself, dude. I mean, going out, starting again, it was like riding a bike, but then again, it wasn't like riding a bike because it was just like, I was a front player when I left, so I didn't really have that like mid to back. Like I didn't really comprehend that. Now that I'm starting to because I'm a bigger guy now, way bigger than I'm not 100. So it having that extra time and being able to learn again, and it really makes a difference because I know that I have a lot to catch up on. So why not just catch up on it and put the time in? Because you got to put the time in. You can't get around it.
Yeah.
There's no getting around it.
How do you feel like the game had changed, man, from when you left in 12 to now? Like a whole new bunker sets. Like, what do you think the biggest changes have been?
Speed of the game, but then again, you can turn the speed up on it a little bit. But I mean, it kind of was always just like, I mean, it was 15 balls a second. It was 20-minute matches with that intermission in the middle, and I mean, it was more grueling back then and it was faster.
Yeah, a lot more points.
I don't know. I don't personally really like it now as much as I did.
Just because you feel like it's slower.
It's not. No, that's not my problem. My problem isn't that it's slower. My problem is that I never really thought X-Ball was supposed to be that type of game that was like slowed down to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
I thought X-Ball was all attack, like an attack game. I mean, that's how we played it. But I mean, I don't like. I said, like again, you got beasts like. I mean, watch any of the pros. I mean, they're down on the other end of the snake, like they should be. But I mean, that was like every point in the NXL. And then one thing I do like that they did adopt is the way that they do the snakes now. So the snakes that they do now, like back in the day, they would only use those like little cubes. Like they would like you could barely. It wasn't really a snake.
You had to be pretty tiny.
You really did. Yeah, you had to be small. I really want the X back. I want a big bump in the middle.
Yeah, I miss the X a lot.
Yeah, people hated on the X. They're like, why do you need the X? I'm like, dude, that's a great bump.
Yeah, I wish they would bring it back at least for like one event. At least the A, like
the A wasn't bad either. I mean, they got other bunkers too like that. I mean, I think this year they added two bunkers.
Did they?
Yeah, because I talked to some folks about buying a couple fields. Mm-hmm. And my question was, well, if I buy this field and you make additions to it or you don't, mm-hmm. like, what do I get the bunkers? Like, no, we'll replace the whole fields for you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, do you know when they're going to be making a change? They're like, yeah, they add one or two bunkers a year. Next year, they're adding two, I believe. I don't know what they are, though, so don't quote me.
They won't tell us, not until World Cup.
Yeah, it's something, though. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something. Or, like, they'll get rid of bunkers, and then they'll just replace them with other ones. I'm not a huge fan of them. The bunkers that they have now. I'm a huge fan.
It's just it's a lot more than back in the day. I think when X-Ball started, it was a 25-piece kit. We're now at like 50 something,
and it was spread out.
Yeah,
I don't know the dimensions of the field now. Do you know what they are?
I think it's actually around the same.
Is it around the same?
Gotten bigger at one point. I know at some point they changed it, but I think it actually went smaller. Maybe it went bigger. But so we have turf at our local field. And at one point, it wasn't regulation size, but now it is regulation size again. So
yeah, we got a lot.
But that happened when I was out of the sport at some point.
A lot of stuff happened now. A lot of stuff.
You got any superstitions or anything before you go to the field? Favorite music to blast? Are you one of those guys that uses the hype music? Or
I'm just there, bro. I like music. Yeah, I like music. That was a part of my ritual wrestling. Music, okay. I mean, that music was a big thing. I mean, not really. I mean, I kind of like just enjoy the camaraderie that I have with my boys right now. Because it's an exciting time for us. I don't have any superstitions. What do I do like everything to be like on point. Like before a game starts, we'll make sure everybody's guns work.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Make sure you change your batteries and show up. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It kills me when batteries go down like mid-match or something. Like, why did we not change these the night before?
Everybody breaks my balls about having so many guns. Like, I'm some prima donna, but like, yeah, okay, maybe I am a prima donna, but like, bro, I know my shit's gonna work.
They're the first ones to borrow it, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you're rocking the DSR right now.
I got one right here. Shout out to Twister.
Nice. What did you like about that platform? Since, like, you said you're sponsored by Twister, but, like, you can choose all the platforms.
What I like about the DSR is that it doesn't drop off like the Ps or the DLXs.
Okay.
Not hating on either of those. I love those guns. But I can just shoot so straight when the paint's on. I mean, I want to be able to put the paint where I want to put the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a shorter guy, so I'm like I have to, the less I have
go
to
up
shoot
a little
in the air,
yeah,
it'd be great. It was a little discouraging too at the beginning. At the beginning when I came back, and I was like, I left shoot and die, so like that was what I had always was like accustomed to shooting.
Uh-huh.
I came back shooting something else, and I was like, "Don't shoot me!" They're like, "Yo, chill. It's, you know, you got it's a the game." Oh, one thing I did notice about the game too is the paint, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but back in the day, it was better.
It's one thing. It's a seam screwing it up.
Yeah.
2024. Oh well, at least Vulcan moved their headquarters to Jersey, their manufacturing headquarters to Jersey.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. So that's like super close to us. So
Makes paint cheap.
we're gonna get the freshest of the fresh, which is that's a major thing too, is the paint.
I would say paint across the board. And I get that it's a hard thing to do, but
is it though, dude? We put people on the moon.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
when you put it in that perspective,
I'm an engineering student. I mean, like, oops, the oil well didn't. Oops.
So what kind of engineering are you doing?
Civil, and then I'm getting a master's in petroleum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little pivot. Not really a pivot from what I do. I build skyscrapers.
Okay.
Yeah, and tunnels and bridges, and
just build stuff.
Hey, how dare I?
And you sound like quite the entrepreneur too. On top of all that,
the past couple of years have been growing in the process. But yeah, I mean, that was always the goal, was to work for myself and do all these other things. Luckily, I've in the direction to be doing that, and I can't really, other than that, just say that I'm blessed to be in that type of position. You know, not everybody gets to be able to be in the paintball community and have a work schedule like I do, or school schedule, or this or that. You know what I mean? Because some people have families, and you know, I'm blessed to be able to do kind of whatever it is that I want to do right now. You know?
Yeah.
And I want to support the paintball community. The paintball community, really, I can't say better things about it, because they didn't have to let me come back. They really didn't. I mean,
I think overall, from what I've seen, like, the paintball community is really willing to give second chances, you know? Maybe after that, if, you know.
Yeah, no, but you know, they didn't have to let me come back and like be like, yo, you know, you're anybody, or, you know, you were ever even here. So it was, you know, it definitely was cool, bro. It definitely was cool. I don't know a sport that, you know, I know that would really do that.
Yeah.
You know, I've been involved in sports my whole life. I've never really caught that vibe from anywhere other than the paintball community.
You got a favorite memory from like paintball? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Played 08 Chicago. We made Sunday for the Jesters. And one of the people who played with us was in the same kind of position that I was in. I'm in now. He had come back and having problems a couple of years before. That was a great event. It was a memorable event. We did really phenomenal. But the thing was, he ended up passing away down the line. Well, like, that was just like one of those memories in paintball. I was just like, dude, you know, I'll never forget that, because that was like a great experience. And we had played Chicago together too, and it was just like, you know, he was coming back and dipping his feet wet. You know, he didn't care what division he played. And we just got after it, and that was probably one of my fondest memories of paintball.
It's awesome. That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's the people you meet in this sport. You know, we come from all over. You know, it's from engineers, mechanics, teachers, doctors.
Every creed, every religion, everything.
I think it really shows, like, as different as people can be, we're really a lot similar. Way more similar than people make it out to be, you know?
But yeah, I mean, I've met so many people this year. So many people. Going on like a cross-country family vacation, and got to stop by and see a bunch of, like, just see what they had going on out there. The industry's strong, super strong, and it's I just can't wait to see what the Northeast has to. It's gonna be interesting. You know, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. There's a lot of good teams up here.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are, you know, the hot spot's always been California. Yeah. And then Texas had it for a little bit. Florida's always.
I think Texas still.
It's hard to say they don't when Fit just won World Cup, right?
Dude, they're I like their model, dude. They're on the field nonstop. I love that. How are you going to beat that?
Yeah, I
mean, that's
what I think that's what you're seeing with a bunch of other teams, man. It's like they're getting clusters of guys that can hang out more together, put in more work together.
I mean, like, I had a conversation early with Sean. I was like, we have X amount of dollars to dump into it long term on a schedule, but like at the same time, like you could pay people that know how to play paintball, whatever. But that doesn't mean that their heart is into what they're doing.
Yeah,
and it's like, how many times have you seen that? I got 5,000, 20,000 4 guys. They're good to go, and they made Sunday, and if they made Sunday, they took 11 through. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to be those guys either.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely seen teams recently that a lot of money got dumped into, and the results were not there
in a lot of divisions.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's not just pro. There's dudes that are trying to throw a purse around in some lower divisions. But yeah, I really like the whole the field vibe. The PB Fit vibe is like very community oriented, and then just like having all their dudes there.
Yeah, one of our players is from Texas. He plays out of X Factor.
Okay.
And he's at Fit a lot. So when I go down and go see him in Texas, we're gonna meet at Fit, because they got everything going on down there, bro.
They got a lot of paintball.
Imagine if the weather was like that here. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents live in Florida. But I get to see it at least.
Yeah, it's and that's always that's always been kind of the problem with the more northern teams is winter is so brutal out there,
It can be done, but it just makes people's work schedule, or like it makes it impossible. I know a bunch of my friends, we're gonna have another player. He's a construction worker in a union in Manhattan. I know I've personally been that guy, so I know his life is not easy. And Sunday is an important recovery day.
Yeah.
So I get it,
Yeah, I was actually just did one the other day with a team, their Division 4 team, but like they practice on Sunday or Saturdays because a lot of them have like demanding jobs physically, and they need that Sunday recovery time.
I actually just started checking out a field at Long Live. They got the same thing. They start like, yeah, we can't make Sundays, we do Saturdays. I'm like, sounds good to me.
And I think that's great.
Because then a lot of the upper divisional guys, the pro guys, now they come out on Saturdays around because it's a better, a little bit less going on.
Yeah.
For what you're trying to do, really, I could go 60% by myself, 70% training by myself.
Yeah.
I think that people don't really. I think that in paintball, also, people don't really. That needs to be a higher priority on teams' lists.
The training,
the physical training, and athleticism.
Yeah. I definitely by the time you get to really even D4, like if you aren't physically fit, you better be a hell of a gunfighter.
I've seen it.
I think we've all seen that one guy who,
oh
man, he can't run, but he'll murk you. He'll murk you.
He cannot break anything past the back center.
Yeah. But he'll take a body off the break though, so you keep him around.
Yeah, you got to keep those guys around, and the tall guys. Evan, who plays for us, Evan Cooperstein, he's rather tall. I'm like, dude, we don't want you to be in mistake one, bro. But he's great front player. So it's like, all right.
How was the transition? Like you said, you were a front player when you left. You're kind of transitioning further back. How's that?
It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Less throwing your body into the ground.
It's not even that, dude. I mean, you can control the entire game from the command center. I mean, that's what needs to be done. There's, if there's communication's not going on the field, it's not going to happen. I mean, doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, you could be mediocre, and if your communication is on point, you can hang.
How is it? Is this the first team you ran? Like as being one of the top guys?
Mhm.
How's that transition been?
These are my friends, you know what I mean? So I'm not really like putting pressure because I already know that like we already had the conversation once, and more than once. We've already like mapped out where we're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like, stay humble and wait.
Cool.
It's everything. Rome wasn't built overnight.
Nope.
I'd like to say it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah, nope. Definitely wasn't.
Well, it'll be fun. These guys are my friends, and I'm excited to watch them perform at the level that they should have always been recognized at. I don't really care about anything for me. I just like to win, and I love the sport. But those guys that we're adding to the team are a lot of underrated guys.
Okay.
That were on a lot of teams that were that ended up having a lot of success. So, and they're my friends. So I want to see them. I want to see them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I want the spotlight to be on them.
So this is like their opportunity to be like, everyone was sleeping on us a little bit.
I really think that that's kind of the case, to be honest with you. I mean,
dude, I think that's awesome.
That's how I operate anyway. I would rather have you not really know.
I like that mentality. Like, we're from A, B, C, and D, and feel like we weren't either appreciated enough or like didn't get the recognition there, and we're gonna all come together and show you what everyone was missing.
I think it's more of a
culmination
over just like a couple of years of like each of us being on, not even, I don't want to say me, but like a bunch of us being on just too many teams that were good, and then they either didn't perform or they performed and then people then were ousted off. You know what I mean? Teams are complicated.
Yeah.
Teams are complicated. Things could be good one day, and the next thing guy could be on a 2-week bender, and he's gambling parlays and AC and I. You know what I mean? So it's I just want to see my friends do good, bro, and I just want to see what we could do. Because I mean, like you said, the game changed a lot too. So this is now this is far beyond skills on the field. This is skills off the field too. So
yeah,
it's a super important part of this.
Yeah, it definitely is. That if you don't have the stuff off the field on lock, like it really doesn't matter how good your talent is. If you're in the right division, it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, and I don't know. What do you see the difference between semi-pro and pro?
I think the game's played a little bit differently in the pro division, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where like from D5 all the way up, like you're kind of playing the same game. There's different levels, obviously, to it, and it gets a little bit faster. But like, I feel like the pros play at a real, in the mind, a high intense speed. Like as far as decision making goes,
critical thinking, communication.
Yeah. Maybe not always that. Communication's like the biggest thing that I see for a ton of teams.
Yeah, Dynasty. You ever seen Dynasty communicate? It's insane.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. And I think that communication piece, especially for like D3 and under guys, can be really hard to understand.
Yeah, because you're going out there with the game plan of like, we're going to play heads up, or like, you're not really playing zone yet. You're not playing zone yet. You're just going out to kill people.
And even the guys that understand the zones and stuff and have the more in-depth game plans, like just the communication on the field is so critical. And you really got to spend time with guys, I feel like, to get to that point. Like, I think it's really hard to do on like a throw together team, right? Which is where like, I think you guys like taking the time and setting that foundation, like that potentially really helps you guys. Cause by the time you roll into Mid-Atlantic's first, right?
No,
second
Tampa.
event, but yeah, Tampa, Mid-Atlantic, then Ohio, right? Yeah. I mean, by the time it's time for that second event where you guys start, like you'll spent a ton of time on the field potentially with each other communicating. And you said like a bunch of you grew up around each other, which helped.
Yeah, we're all from the same county.
But also like there's just voice recognition, man. Like if you're on a new team and you haven't played with these dudes, it can literally, you can be hearing it, but not processing it because you don't recognize that voice.
Or even what they're talking about. Some people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where
we had a couple of Russians on the Jesters. I have no clue what they're saying.
You can hear them really well, but you have no clue.
They're beasts too, bro. Beasts.
They don't mess around. That's another level of fundamentals for sure.
Yeah, I would say, is the zone thing too, man. I mean, I think that we want to bring zone to the game too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to really play heads up all day.
Yeah. I think that like just the pros, like it's such a different thing. Like I really feel like you got like once you make it to the pros, and I've never made it to the pros, but from what I've seen, like you got to kind of learn that pro game too. Like it's quicker and it's a different game almost.
And they already have their trap set too.
Yeah.
All day. They're just waiting for you to cross that little fucking 2-inch gap. And that's it.
Well, you know, I think you start seeing that with some of the better semi-pro teams. Like
you did
really,
see it. Yeah. But
really
you saw it because you had a lot of them sending their guys up to go get a couple years of pro experience and then coming down, and then you had a lot of pros that were coaching and then coming down giving that knowledge, which is great knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I love to watch paintball that has, you know, that they're running plays, they're playing zone. They can switch in and out of zone to play heads up at any time they want. You watch the Ironman, they play like that too. I mean, they switch in and out of zone all the time.
Well, that's the team that went and grabbed a couple guys that knew each other, you know. So
Ironman,
yeah.
They have one of my favorite lineups.
Yeah, I feel like they got third last year, but like I felt like they had more in the tank.
Yeah, I think that their team's fairly newly put together too.
Yeah, last year it was brand new.
Yeah,
they did a total rebuild,
and it's good, dude. I mean, those dudes are athletes. No joke.
And me and my brother were talking about this mainly because everyone was saying like Dynasty's lost it. I'm like, Dynasty had a great year by all standards. They won a pro event. Like if you really any division you're in, if you won an event, you had a really good year. And then if or you had a great year, and then if you won more, it's, you know, even better. Like winning those things back to back can be hard. And honestly, if you're on a team that's always in the hunt and on the podium, like that's a good year. Like,
and like think about
I don't know how you could be saying someone had a bad year when you won an event. You know, you can say you had a bad event after you won that event, but you can't say you had a bad year.
No, and Dynasty won all those Triple Crowns and all those seasons for how long? And then they were the best funded team back then to be like, and they still are. I mean, I don't ever see Dynasty being anything other than Dynasty.
Yeah, no, I
don't know, dude. I don't. Maybe Ryan Greenspan and Alex Strachey won't be playing for Dynasty, and Rao, but you think they're not going to be coaching on the sideline?
Yeah, that's when those guys decide to hang it up. Like
we're not going to get 3 great coaches now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they aren't going anywhere. Like they're just going to coach, and it's going to be even worse.
That's what I'm saying, because the bar is so high. They've made they're not lowering their standards. I don't know much about Dynasty. I do like Project. I bought a lot from Archie and talked to Archie, but I mean I don't see them going anywhere ever. I think that's going to be one of those teams just going to be, that is paintball, you know, them, the Ironman, them. I mean,
and I think it's Ironman, them, and Russians that are the longest running pro teams right now.
Probably.
Yeah. If you trace it all the way through, not Aftermath, Avalanche.
Right.
Which I feels like a
I was just watching some Trauma Hit. I was watching some Trauma Hit Avalanche last night.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a group. We got a where we'll find like one of the older guys on there, and then we'll be like, "Yo, dude, remember when you were cool?" Trauma Head Sports.
Definitely encapsulates era in paintball for sure.
For sure. What's up with that image jersey behind you, dude? That's an amazing jersey. That's a sick jersey, dude.
That's one of my favorites. I was just a big fan of Image coming up, man.
Dude, it's
so I started in 1999.
There's an Image 10 man, right? Right now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We actually, we played 5-man mechanical at Cup, and we lost to Emmett.
5-man mechanical at Cup. Is that on? What kind of field's that on?
It's on the Mounds field.
Oh, it's on a Mounds field?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's sick.
But they just used to be one of my favorite teams. They're why I bought a Matrix back in the day. So I was lucky enough, PB Nation, you remember PB Nation.
Legend on PB Nation.
So I copped it in PB Nation after they had Image had kind of lost their cool before the team came back. Someone was selling some jerseys. So I was like, I got to cop that one.
You came up on that one.
Oh.
I had some, oh man, I don't even want to tell a story. I had some signed Tim Montressor jerseys that were from those years with the All-Americans that were
wow,
game worn. I don't even want to talk about it.
So downstairs, I have his Aftershock jersey.
Oh, that's so cool, bro.
The black with the print on it, not the full green one. But and I didn't even realize it at the time, but I had bought it off him.
Yeah, dude.
Because PB Nation, no one put their name. Everyone had their little username or whatever. And I would shop in the pro section so I didn't get ripped off, right? At least I'm buying from a pro. I don't know who I'm buying from, but that way I could go on there and be like, hey, so-and-so did ship.
I remember that. Dude, that was crazy back then. I don't even know who let me on there doing massive deals at 13 years old.
Oh, dude, it was so wild. Like
I had thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in a PayPal email account. Like I'm a kid.
Yeah, I had a couple buddies around here that, man, they would just flip and flip and flip stuff. And that's how they played paintball.
I do too. I kind of did it too. What am I looking at right now? I'm looking at 4 Adrenaline Idols, 6 Twister DSLRs, and 4 Twister CS. Dang. Yeah. I had to get the team ready to go. And that's another thing too, bro. I don't really want paintball to be a crazy financial burden on the guys either. I don't want to hear that excuse. Like, not that that's not an excuse, but if that's an excuse of yours, we could figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome from like a team owner perspective too. Like, hey, we're here to do this thing.
My father owns the team.
Okay. So, team manager perspective.
Yeah. So,
we're gonna figure it out. You just got to let us know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't want a lot of the people that we have now are very skillful, but there's backstories. Everybody's got something going on in their life. Everybody. How can we mitigate this the best way? And that's what I want to bring on the field too. Is like, how are we going to do this? And I want to hear from. Maybe I'm not the leader. I don't even want to be the leader. I want to be an asset to the group, team. I want to operate with the team. And I haven't really like a ton of teams. I haven't really like delved into their operations or asked any, you know what I mean? Kind of putting together like my things with other pros that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just want to make it so everybody who has the talent that thinks that they deserve, that they've been shorted, or maybe it's not shorted, maybe just haven't had the opportunity. Then let's do it.
That's awesome. I dig it, man. Hey, we're right at an hour, which is where I try and keep these things at, bro. You nailed it, man. You nailed it,
bro.
So it'll probably be like 50 minutes after editing and stuff. We just cut out some of the long stuff, pauses and stuff. But I'd love to check back in with you guys after Atlantic City, man.
Yeah, that'd be, bro. Catch us at Atlantic City.
Yeah. I might come up, hang out with the nephews.
Believe it or not, I will say that event is pretty cool because, I mean, hotels aren't crazy expensive.
Yeah.
It's Atlantic City. It's not a nice city.
Yeah, I heard some stories this year. I'm Shout out the sponsors one more time.
All right, let me make sure I get this right. Hold on, I got you. I'm going on the IG, get everybody in there. Shout out Active Paintball. I want to shout out Masons, Twisters, Anti-Ag Club, Super Dead. We love you over here in the USA from the UK. Dan at Odin, Larry at Quickshot. Appreciate all the love and support, and Mark at Sandata.
Awesome.
With
Well,
that,
we'll catch you after the Atlantic City.
We'll be in contact, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Shout out to 1023 Sportswear for sponsoring the show. Don't forget to use code Planet Paintball at checkout for 20% off your order. Gear up, save big. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball podcast